the quiet town of Greyfall, where fog painted the streets like a permanent ghost, 23-year-old Aidan Cross lived a life that could only be described as painfully normal. Until the night he began seeing his own reflection doing things he wasn't. It started subtly. A blink that didn't match his own, a slight delay in the mirror, a faint grin that curled when he hadn't smiled. At first, he dismissed it as exhaustion from long hours at the library where he worked, typing old documents into digital archives. But the incident that changed everything happened at exactly 3:11 a.m., when he woke up hearing footsteps pacing across his wooden bedroom floor. The footsteps weren't heavy, but not soft either, controlled, deliberate, as if someone was matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. Heart pounding, Aidan sat up, scanning the room, lit only by moonlight spilling through the curtains. There was no one there. He exhaled in relief until his eyes drifted toward the mirror across the room. His reflection stood upright, not sitting, not mirroring his motion, standing and staring directly at him. Aidan froze as the reflection slowly lifted its hand, placed a finger over its lips, and motioned for silence. Then the reflection smiled, wide, unnatural, and stepped backward, vanishing into the darkness inside the mirror. The surface rippled like water, then stilled. Aidan didn't sleep the rest of the night. Terrified, he researched mirror folklore, but found nothing that matched what he saw. Over the coming days, things escalated. Shadows in the corners shifted when he passed. Reflections appeared at wrong angles. The kitchen window showed the living room behind him instead of the backyard. And every night at 3:11 a.m. sharp, he heard the same footsteps in his room. One night, during a blackout in town, he lit a candle and walked into the bathroom. The mirror was pitch black, no reflection at all. He leaned forward, waving his hand in front of it, but nothing appeared. Then suddenly, two pale eyes materialized inside the darkness of the glass. They weren't human. They were too wide, too still. A distorted version of his own face slowly emerged, but its skin was cracked like dried clay. Before he could react, the reflection whispered, "You don't belong here." "I do." The candle blew out on its own, and the mirror shattered outward, cutting his face. Aidan bolted out of the house and didn't return until sunrise. Desperate, he confided in his best friend, Mia. She listened, thinking he was suffering from sleep paralysis or hallucinations. But when he showed her a picture he had taken, the mirror reflection staring back while he was looking sideways, her skepticism vanished. Together, they investigated Greyfall's history and discovered something chilling. Multiple disappearances over decades, all reported after victims claimed to see wrong reflections or parallel versions of themselves. Old newspaper archives called the mirror switchings, cases of individuals being replaced by versions of themselves from a parallel side. According to the local lore, an invisible realm existed behind reflective surfaces, inhabited by entities known as echoes. Echoes were parasitic versions of people, identical in appearance, but born from darkness, feeding off fear. Once an echo fully manifested, it replaced the human and took over their life flawlessly. Aidan realized his echo had already crossed half the threshold. Things worsened when Mia began noticing Aidan behaving strangely, only not the Aidan she was speaking to. One morning, she received a voice note from him filled with fear, saying, "If you see me today, don't believe it's me." A minute later, Aidan showed up at her door, smiling too perfectly, eyes locked, unblinking. She didn't open the door. Instead, she texted him, "Where are you?" Her phone pinged. Aidan's reply said he was at home, hiding. Horrified, Mia watched from the window as the figure outside her house turned its head slowly, staring directly at her window, even though she hadn't made a sound. The Aidan echo dragged its fingers down her door, then walked away without looking back. Aidan and Mia decided to consult Evelyn Reed, an elderly historian known for studying Greyfall's paranormal legends. Evelyn revealed the truth. The echo realm was a fractured dimension that formed alongside the real world, like a dark mirror running parallel to reality. Sometimes the boundary weakened, especially around people emotionally vulnerable or mentally exhausted, and an echo would choose its target. The only way to stop it was to confront it inside its realm before the switching completed. But entering the echo realm was deadly. Anyone who failed to return before the realm sealed would be trapped forever while their echo lived in their place. "Your echo is nearly complete," Evelyn warned Aidan. By the next cycle of 3:11 a.m., it will replace you entirely. Fear swallowed him, but he refused to let another version of himself steal his existence. With Mia and Evelyn's guidance, Aidan prepared to cross into the parallel realm. At 3:11 a.m., the mirror in his house began trembling, the surface warping like liquid metal. He stepped toward it and felt an invisible force latch onto him, pulling him inward. He stumbled into a world identical to his home, but drained of all color. Black skies, gray ground, and endless quiet. The air felt thick, as if breathing through wet cloth. Every reflective surface flickered with distorted versions of him. Voices whispered his name from impossible directions. In the living room, he saw himself, his echo, standing in front of the cracked mirror. It turned, smiling with familiarity. "You've finally come home," it said. "I've waited long enough." The echo moved impossibly fast, tackling him to the ground. The two struggled, but Aidan quickly learned that his echo had strength far beyond his own. It clawed, screamed, and tried forcing his head into the floor as if ready to merge their bodies. Aidan remembered Evelyn's last instruction: echoes feed on fear. Starve it. Realizing this, Aidan stopped fighting emotionally. He forced himself to become calm, to reject the terror tightening his chest. As he relaxed, the echo's grip weakened. Its skin cracked more. It shrieked, "Stop. Fear me." But Aidan remained steady. The echo began disintegrating, its body peeling like burning paper. With one final scream, it collapsed into dust. But the realm started collapsing. The walls twisted. Gravity flipped. Aidan sprinted back toward the mirror portal as the world crumpled behind him. He dove toward the glass just as it sealed, shattering outward once more. When he opened his eyes, he was back in his home, gasping for breath. Mia burst inside minutes later and found him alive, trembling, bleeding from mirror cuts, but human. In the weeks that followed, the disturbances stopped. No footsteps at 3:11 a.m., no wrong reflections, no shifting shadows. Aidan tried to rebuild his life, but the trauma lingered. Mia stayed close, checking on him daily. Slowly, he began to feel normal again. But one night, months later, he brushed his teeth before bed and leaned toward the mirror. Everything seemed fine, until his reflection blinked a fraction of a second later than he did. Only a fraction, but unmistakable. His blood turned cold. The reflection smirked, not wide, not monstrous, but just a hint. A silent reminder. A whisper from the other side. The echoes never die, they wait.